Okay, we're here with actor Adam Roberts, who just concluded his over 2-year run, right? In Spider-Man. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
The show that had no physical sort of
It was
performances.
easy breezy.
Yeah.
No, my body feels every show that I did there within my 2.5 years.
Sometimes
Yeah.
twice as many.
I'll miss it for sure, but my body, it'll be nice to kind of recalibrate, reset everything, heal.
Why don't you talk a little bit about when you first decided you wanted to become an actor and what led you to New York?
I always tell people that I was born into it. It kind of chose me. I didn't really have a choice. It was inevitable. I come from a musical family. My father's a performer. His father's a performer. In fact, he just got inducted into the Steel Guitar Hall of Fame.
Very cool.
Very much involved in the country music scene. So the kind of musical, artistic genes ran in my blood, I guess. So I was fascinated with it from a very young age. I would accompany my dad to work at night. He worked at a variety show, and I would learn all the material. I had a niche for hearing harmonies. So by 7, I was singing harmonies. So I think vocalizing came a little more naturally to me. I started working professionally at 10. And the same show that he worked in was called the Carolina Opry, which is like a 2,200 seat variety show in Myrtle Beach, which is where I grew up, South Carolina. So I worked there for 11 years, and that's where I kind of cultivated my craft. I was like a sponge. I worked with lots of professionals, picked up dance along the way. They would kind of see me mimicking the choreography. I would watch the TV monitors and kind of mimic what they were doing, whether it was like river dance or whether it was just like Britney Spears jazz routine. And they would kind of one by one take me aside and kind of show me the ropes. And they drop your shoulders, lengthen your arms, point your feet, turn your hips out. So that's how I kind of, I guess I fostered my love for dance. And then I joined an academy in high school where I furthered, my training there. So I knew from a very young age, I was eat up with it. I knew, hands down, matter of fact, this is what I was destined to do. So I just kind of took that passion and ran with it.
Now, when you got to New York, what was your first professional gig?
Co-checking. No, as a performer, actually, let me think. I worked with the USO, the United Service Organization, for a while. They were founded actually in Times Square, I think 1942.
Wow.
And they provide services for military, whether it be active or retired. So I was in the performing troupe originally with them. We would go all over the nation, boost morale, perform for these people. And and I would audition on the side.
Never overseas though, right?
Never overseas. There were a bunch of red tape issues that they couldn't quite get worked out. But that was my first professional.
So when you booked Spider-Man, what was your feeling? I mean, you had to be excited. It was a huge show with a huge...
It was such an amalgam of emotions. There was relief because I was all of my work has finally amounted to something. Not that my other, gigs along the way weren't.
No, but this was your break.
That was my ultimate end-all dream. I was oh my gosh, it's finally paid off. All this hard work and dedication, perseverance. I was just ecstatic. It was all of my dreams were kind of coming to fruition finally. And I was scared shitless. It's Broadway. It's the next step up. It's the highest caliber of talent that there is in this profession, in this field.
What was it like stepping on stage for the first time?
Well, I had a month to train for the show, where I learned the flights, my choreography, the vocals, and everything. And I would sit in the audience and watch, and I'd be it was hard to believe that I was going to be on stage doing that. Just watching that professional level performance. But again, I was a little petrified. My adrenaline was through the roof, and I was just in the zone. I was so focused on. Because Spider-Man's not just you stand in your window and you smile and you sing and you dance. It's
jazz hands.
First you're I have a heavy lifting track in the show, so I'm lifting Peter Parker, and then I'm the lab assistant, and then I'm the big leap Spider-Man that's leaping and flipping and flying, and then I'm the Green Goblin that does the stunts at the end of the show with these big wings, and then I'm a newspaper, I'm just puppeteering in the show, I'm a villain with all these multifaceted costumes. So it's there's really no breathing room in the show.
Right.
So I kind of blinked my eyes and it was over. I was taking my bow at the end of the show, and that was the most just amazing feeling. I was just like, wow, just like looking out at the audience and standing on stage and just being like, whew, got one under my belt. That was amazing though.
Now you're taking some much deserved time off, at least for the immediate
Yeah.
future.
I'm trying to find the marriage between actually allowing myself to relax and indulge in doing nothing and not being like panic stricken, anxiety ridden. Like
Yeah.
too much idle time I'm not good with. Like it'd be nice knowing I have something lined up, then I could really relax. But in the meantime I'm trying to stay proactive but still give myself some allowances too.
What are you looking to jump into? I know I read that you are a huge fan of Jersey Boys. Is that still something you would
Jersey
like to
Boys
do?
is probably like my ultimate show. Like if I could be anyone, they always ask, like, what's the show you could be in above any other? I think that's the one. I'm like, I'm a song and dance sort of man. I love singing in groups. I love intricate harmonies. I love blending. And you're kind of getting to utilize your acting ability, your singing, dancing, everything like that. And I don't know, I was in a group called the Unexpected Boys for a little bit before I got Peter Parker, or before I got SpiderMan. And it's essentially a traveling Jersey Boys show. So, I don't know, I feel like I kind of fit the bill.
Yeah,
Fit the
it'll be a lot different from throwing people around and fighting them.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I think the next step is to kind of like work my way up the totem pole. Like, in Spider-Man I was in the ensemble, so I'd kind of like to be not behind a mask the whole show, and to be a little more featured, to be like a featured, like a principal leading man. So
And what advice would you give to people who are just starting out in the business?
I would
You've been
just-
at it a long time. I mean, 10,
Yeah,
10
I would just
is...
say, immerse yourself in your surroundings. Like everything counts. We just really be like a sponge and just take it all in. You have to make sure you really love it because it's like a cutthroat industry. It's a dog-eat-dog world. It's all the big fish from the small ponds that come to New York. You know what I mean? So it's
such a small world. People think it's like
true.
people think there's so many actors,
I mean,
but there's
everything-
really not. I mean,
it's
there
true.
is, but they use the same people over and over again.
It's a big city, but it's a small island. Like everyone,
Yeah.
and your reputation kind of precedes you. Your work ethic means a lot in this industry. I would just say like have a dream and run with it. Like do everything in your power to make it happen. Even the everyday little things like taking class, reading books. I don't know, whitening your teeth. Everything. I mean,
He's now endorsing Crest White Strips.
Totally.
That's his new job, everyone.
just bettering yourself all the time.
Yeah. And now, what do you do in your downtime? Now that you have downtime, but during the show, what would you do for downtime? Just sleep?
I mean,
Or go to the
sleep-
gym, that kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely go to the gym and try to like maintain some semblance of, a good body.
Yeah.
I like to meditate a lot, do like a Vedic meditation. Avid reader, love movies. I love exploring the city and just really, I just love utilizing my, my surroundings. Like a chameleon, I can adapt to wherever I am, but I'm really loving living in New York City, so I'm trying to make the most of that.
Are you going to pursue episodic work since they might be kind of winding down a little?
Pursue what?
Episodic television work?
I'm not opposed to it. Film for me, it's not really my passion. I don't thrive. I don't really come to life in front of the camera. But give me a live audience, and that's where it's at for me.
The good thing about being a member of the Broadway community is you can do concerts and
Totally.
benefits and stuff where
Yeah.
people can see you sing.
I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
I did a few of those last year, so
Now you can do more this year.
get my hands on some more of those.
Just the money part, as he indicated with his hands,
No,
right?
I mean-
No, I'm kidding. Well, we really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us, and enjoy the rest of your day.
See you on the flip side.
That's right. See you in your next show.
That's right. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.